Hey everyone, welcome back to the Bible Belt Bros podcast.
What's up?
Today is going to be an alright day. We got a pretty good episode for you as we were talking through some things, trying to figure out what to talk about.
We hope it's pretty good anyways.
We talked a little bit last week about how Andrew and I grew up in a traditional Baptist church, right?
Right.
And so traditional Baptist churches, Southern Baptist churches especially, we were all about the Sunday school.
Sunday.
We decided let's kind of talk through how Sunday schools kind of evolved through the week. You had a title for this episode, but I can't remember what it was.
Is Sunday school dead?
Sunday schools kind of evolved through the years, and so we just wanted to kind of talk through how it's evolved, what was better, the good old days or the days of today. So
Right.
Let's start. We can talk about kind of your favorite experiences growing up through Sunday school. Maybe we should explain what Sunday school is. I don't know.
Yeah, because I guess we do have newer.
Is Sunday school in
believers.
Australia?
Right.
I don't know.
Sunday school is when you arrive to church early and you have a lesson. It's like school about the Bible.
The name.
Yep. You just arrive. It's usually 2 hours before or an hour before, and you have a lesson and talk about it. Essentially,
I would say that Sunday school is more of like a sit down, listen. Like there's a curriculum that you're going through in Sunday school. Doesn't really line up with anything about what the Sunday sermon's going to be about. Those are two separate things.
Yep.
But yeah, I would say you're right. It's more of like a teaching time specifically. None of the gimmicks, I guess you could say. I was saved in Sunday school.
Oh.
In Sunday school, I asked Jesus into my heart.
Nice.
So it has like a sentimental thing to me, I guess.
Nice.
But, yeah.
If you had a good teacher, it was fun. But a lot of times, to me, it wasn't fun.
That's school in general.
Yeah, I guess
the
you're
classes that were your favorite classes are the ones that had good teachers.
You're right, yeah, because they make the class good.
But do you have any, Andrew, do you have any good memories of Sunday school or anything that stands out to you about growing up in Sunday school?
Nope, not really. I mean, I think it was Sunday morning when my mom did that class that we all did in high school with the technology fast and all that. That was that's the only one that really stands out to me.
When I moved to Oklahoma from Missouri, the church we went to didn't have Sunday school,
Nope.
but then they had Sunday night.
Yep.
And I believe the setup that was still at the church at the time, so everybody would just come back to church Sunday night.
Yep.
We wouldn't have a Sunday night service. We'd have Sunday groups or whatever we called it. I can't remember what we called it, but it was basically Sunday school at night.
Night school.
Night school. That was kind of like the same concept as far as the curriculum was going. There was no real music or anything like that. It was just everybody kind of coming together. There might have been food, Baptist. There might have been started out with a meal and then everybody kind of broke out into their classes. I think that's actually how it worked out.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't remember. It's been so long that I don't really remember.
You don't remember the Sunday night stuff?
I mean, I remember going back to church on Sunday nights, yes. Because we'd only have a few hours if we were going to the lake or something.
Yeah.
We'd only be able to go for a few hours because we always had to go back to church.
And that was the worst.
It was. 100% it was.
You couldn't, and especially I worked at the church at that time, so then we had 2:30 band practice, and then we had an hour, and then we had to come back for dinner. So basically it was your entire day.
Entire Sunday, yeah.
Till about 8 p.m. was
nothing but church.
Nothing but church stuff related,
Yep.
you know.
And I got into church by a friend saying, "Hey, you want to go to the lake?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "All right, we'll leave after church." I'm like, "Okay." I didn't go to church at that time. The lake kind of played a big role in me, and then it turned into me not being able to go to the lake anymore. It kind of sucked.
So somebody used the lake to get you to go to church.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, come with us to the church and we'll head to the lake after.
Freeman.
And then all of a sudden it was, well, we can't do that anymore because we're changing things up.
That's right.
Sunday school is now night school.
Sunday night. Yeah, that was Freeman, dude. I haven't heard that name in a minute.
Shout out, Freeman. Then, for me, in my years of church, the Rick Warren Purpose Driven Life book came out. And that is where it became no longer Sunday night school, but small groups.
Small groups, yes.
And then we did small groups, revolutionizing it, not at the church, but in
somebody
houses.
else's house, yes.
So we're going to do small groups in houses on Sunday night. Boom. New revolutionary idea.
Wow. That was fun. I did enjoy that too, because that's how it was when I moved here, and because you guys were already doing it, and so then I joined in, and it was different, and I liked it.
Yeah, I think that was, everybody was going through kind of the same curriculum at the same time.
Yes.
So no matter what age you were, minus maybe children or whatever, but like small groups, basically that's where like there was not really anything for the kids. I don't think there wasn't like
No, they played in the bedrooms.
Yeah, so they didn't have night school anymore.
Because they still went on Sunday mornings to their classes and did their lessons on Sunday morning.
Oh yeah, that's true. Just the adults were cool,
Right?
For night stuff. And so I remember that we would all go through the same curriculum. We would all kind of meet at different houses. I can't remember how we chose, because we kind of did it weird. Like you mixed it up. You had old people and young people all in the same thing, same house. Like it was like mentorship.
You're right, we did.
It was like a weird. I can't remember how we made people. It might have been by location. Like if you lived in this area, you go here. I can't remember exactly though. But
I don't. All I know is I went with you. That's all I knew.
That was interesting. That was pretty cool. I think there's other churches that still do something similar to that. I know Life Church at one point when they have their home groups was like everybody's watching the same lesson and then they're talking about it.
Yep.
But again, it was like all kind of like similar curriculum wise as we go through it together. So you're still kind of a one church, but in multiple multiple things going on, and probably that helped the expenses of the church. They didn't have to open it back up, the building and stuff like that. It would allow you to grow bigger than what those maybe classrooms could hold, by switching it up to houses.
It just made it more comfortable to invite people. It's a lot easier to invite somebody over to your house than it is to a church building, because church has the stigmatism. Just the building itself has the stigmatism.
I get the thought of that. I don't think that's true. Like I'm in marketing now, right? It is way easier. I get the stigmatism in trying to get somebody, but it's way harder to get somebody, hey, come over to my buddy's house. We're going to have a Bible study. Like that is way more intimate than, hey, come sit through this thing with me, man. Like you can fit in. Nobody's going to call you out. You're kind of anonymous when you're there unless you try to reach out to people. Where if you go to somebody's house when there's like 12 other people there, you're going to be called out. It's going to be more awkward for that person than it is for them to come to a church with some thoughts behind it, I think.
See, I don't think you're going to get called out necessarily.
Not called out, but like singled out, I guess maybe that's the word. Like you know that you're the new guy because no new guys ever come through that. Like
our house church has a lot of new people all the time.
But you go to the pastor's house church.
Yeah, well, only for a few more months.
Well, exactly. That's the house church. What I would say is different because those are the ones that, I don't know. To me, like the status, like if it's somebody that works at a church, that house church is more likely somewhere that's going to be
right.
Come meet my pastor.
Right.
But like come meet Joe over here. That's a little different. I don't know.
So you say this.
That's for me. I don't know if I
You
can
say this.
that.
My pastor's not there a lot, though. It's usually his wife leading.
Did he not sign a covenant? No.
I don't know. Let's ask him.
Oh, I was going to say I'm in marketing, right? So I always think of things of like sales funnels, and you have your top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. The top of the funnel is that catch-all blog.
Right.
That, you don't care if they're a hint of an interest, if they fit your demographic at all, you want them here.
It's the shotgun hit.
And then
splatter.
you slowly funnel them down to like, okay, those people will see this offer of, let's say, maybe serving on Sunday morning instead of just attending on Sunday mornings, that middle of the funnel. And then your bottom of the funnel, the most intimate things like that would be the people that are coming to these like smaller groups and doing life together is what that's supposed to be. Because that's
right.
Technically, I don't think the way the small or house churches or whatever we call them are, it's supposed to be doing life together. It's not supposed to be this funnel catcher that you're catching somebody that, you know what I mean? So like It's supposed to be a little bit more intimate. Everybody's supposed to know people's secrets, and which is then why it's harder to invite a new person, and then nobody like your people aren't going to share because a new person's there. They know them,
100%.
And then they're not going to share because they don't know you, and so then all of a sudden it kind of maybe can change.
And that's why I just sit there I don't.
Oh, God.
I don't talk in my
just-
house church.
You're just there so you don't get fined.
I'm just there so people stop judging me because Christians are judgy.
Okay, all right. That's not this podcast. That's not this episode, Andrew.
Oh, my bad. Spoiler alert.
But yeah, so that's why I always think of like the people that will stay at your church longer are going to be those that are involved in your small groups or whatever. My brother-in-law, they do Sunday morning still at their church.
Nice.
Down in Houston, and I like it.
I like it. I literally the other day I was laying in bed. I'm like, are there any churches around here that still do Sunday morning? Because maybe I'd just go there for a Sunday morning lesson and then come to our church for.
Well, I was
the
thinking of
message.
it this way too. The way that they don't do it is really somebody getting up and doing a full-on teaching.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it was as curriculum-based. Maybe it was. I'm not sure. Definitely didn't feel that way. It was one person talking, everybody listening, maybe giving their input when they were asked questions and stuff like that. But I was thinking, it was like, well, I guess it's one of those things where you get a sermon because it's almost too much sermons when they're not synced up together, when they don't go with what the pastor's talking about. You would think that would be a little bit more beneficial, like when we had the same curriculum that everybody's kind of going through and it matched with, like everything's reinforcing this point that we're trying to get across. But what if this sermon didn't talk to you, but Sunday school talked to you?
Exactly.
Or Sunday school didn't talk to you, but the sermon talked to you.
And that's what I loved about Sunday school.
You just get a bunch of different
Right.
options out there, and you're only going to be able to choose one anyway.
Okay, I just had some instances come to mind.
Oh, okay.
So when you moved to Tulsa and my dad had taken a position there in Cassville, we went to Emmanuel Baptist in Cassville. They were very, very old school. They still did every Sunday morning Sunday school, broken down by ages or age groups, And so, but the youth, we didn't have one because, the youth are rebels. And so
Yeah,
we
for
just
sure.
kind of did our own thing. So I would go sit in on the older people's because they were so entertaining. And I'd sit in on theirs, and they just sit around these 2 square tables. So it was kind of like a round table made out of 2 squares. Sometimes they'd be complaining about something that somebody did or complaining about the message, but
That sounds like this podcast.
right. But then they always got into a lesson, and I swear, other than I learned so much from those old people. It was great. I loved that class.
Yeah.
And I was the only young person in there, and it kind of helped being, I was the youth pastor's son, and so I could do that. I mean, they wouldn't just let anybody in there. The matter of fact, they ran some of my friends out of there, but I was allowed to stay. Like, hey, this is cool. So, I guess that was one of, there's a memory that I just remembered.
I am thinking like most church buildings now, especially the newer churches that meet in like renovated
Stores, like
stores or
Walmarts
shops.
or, yeah.
They're not built to even have that kind of
No,
ability.
they're
Like
not.
like even at youth, we break out into small groups, but you're like, hey, you guys go to the green room.
Right.
That's like a random closet basically. You guys go over here where there's no air conditioning or heating. You guys go sit in the pastor's office. So it's
Right,
like
'cause-
everybody's spread out like that.
Yeah, because they're building these churches, and the only thing I can reference it to is Life Church, because that's the big mega church near us.
Mm-hmm.
And every time they build a location, they make it modular so that each area can be used or multi-purposed. It can be used for other things.
Yeah, I think they're built for bigger auditoriums to hold
Yes.
the most mass
People.
amount of people. But then you can't really split, even if you did partitions or whatever to split those, the amount of noise for conversations, you're going to hear it.
Right,
So,
there will be overflow.
so there's not a way to like separate that out, but they're able to receive the most top of the funnel people, in those
Yeah.
big worship environments that are easy to go to and easy to invite people to. So
Yeah, I liked Sunday school. I personally, and I've told you this, I would think I've told everybody this. I don't like our current model because we never evolved into where we are currently. Currently, it was we were meeting Sunday nights at somebody's house. Well, now we're meeting every day of the week at somebody's house. So just a different night. It's no longer just confined to Sunday nights. Like my house church, we meet Monday nights.
yeah. So the evolution is now
Right.
Now it's not just a Sunday thing. Now it's what day of the week works best for you.
Right.
thing.
Yep. Make God fit your schedule.
Well, I would argue that doing everything on Sunday and giving the rest of my week to me is also making God fit my schedule. So
I mean, you could argue that absolutely, and unless you're taking that into make one day make Sunday the Sabbath and holding that day holy.
Oh, true that. Oh man. Okay.
You could go that route, but I don't see it that way because Sunday, I work Sundays. The only day I take off is Thursdays. So technically, I think I should probably be making Thursdays my Sabbath, but I don't. Now, our house churches, all of our house churches are supposed to be going through the same book of the Bible. Do they? For the most part, yes, and except some are way ahead, some are way behind.
I think that's the issue. The synergy kind of gets lost a little bit.
Yes.
Because I'm probably, because you are in the pastor's house church, you're actually behind.
We're way behind.
So I'm pretty sure. Let's see. I can tell you we are in Corinthians. Do you know where you're at in the?
I can pull it up on my phone and tell you.
We just finished 1 Corinthians 12.
I think we're on 6.
That's like 8 to 10 weeks away. And we did a game night last week.
That's crazy. Yes, we just finished, or we just did 6. We didn't even finish it. We did 8 verses.
Well, so I mean, some of those chapters you split up into 2 weeks, but
I mean, there's sometimes we'll just do 1 verse for that entire week.
that's not even a story.
Dude, you're telling me?
Okay. Well, yeah. So we are way further ahead of you.
Yeah.
So when you get through the books of the Bible like that and through chapters, we're on completely different topics.
Right.
Really, that's what the issue is. We're in the same book, but we're not talking about the same things anymore.
That's not my issue either.
I know it's not your issue. Your issue is that there is no pastoral teaching
Right.
in those environments. It's more of like, well, what did you learn, Andrew?
Exactly. It's your personal takeaway.
What's your opinion on this,
Yeah.
Andrew?
And I'm not a scholar. I mean, yes, I've taken Bible classes, so I have more knowledge than most, but I am not a scholar. I don't know this stuff. I need somebody to teach me, to help me understand it. And with our 4 questions, that's not getting it done for me. And so that's one reason I don't like our house church model.
The part that I am getting better with, because I have been in your shoes, to me it comes across more lazy. Like, I don't want to plan lessons, so we'll just ask the same 4 questions. But it does make me. I'll come up with maybe 1 or 2 things that I haven't thought of before in trying to pull a different answer out besides the basic ones. Like there might be some times where a verse might be like, well, what about this? Probably not right, but it's something I can think of, and maybe it just helps me critical think the verse a little bit more. But other than that,
I mean, there are instances when I can do that, but I can't do that with every single time.
You think what I would say is you think of when somebody comes out from a Sunday morning sermon, and you come out like, that was exactly what I needed. That's exactly right. I haven't left a house church going, that's exactly what I needed.
Yep.
Here's my takeaway, what I need to do. Like, I guess been more of a Sunday school type of takeaway that I had received, where it was like a knowledge thing and not a application life altering thing. Does that make sense? Am I making?
Yeah.
Are you smelling what I'm stepping in?
It's stinky, but it's there. So when you ask the same 4 questions every week, and guys, we have 4 questions, the same 4 every single week. That is our house church model. It's called the sword method. It's supposed to be so simple that you can do this in your own study.
Yeah, anybody,
and you can walk somebody
really,
through
it takes the pressure off of anybody wanting to lead a house church, because you're not having to be the teacher. And so there's a lot. Andrew's taking all the negatives of it, but there's reasons why we do it. But
100%. But to me, I just don't learn, and it sucks for me because it's not my style. Because when you have the same 4 questions, you have the same answers every week.
Yeah,
and even if somebody is new there.
Well, especially if you're going 1 verse at a time, Andrew, you're not even getting through. It's like you're reading Leviticus or something.
Oh my goodness.
Or you're reading some.
If we ever did Leviticus, I think I'd just leave.
You're reading some sort of like the genealogy of Christ. Like you're on Matthew chapter 1 and let's just read 1 verse. Then what do we learn about God? Well, we learned that this guy was born.
Benjamin begot. Yeah. All the begots.
And so you don't actually get to push through. I think that's where the sword method is good for longer, like full on chapters. Chapters that talk about more than just maybe one subject, because some of those things carry on. Your issue just might be you're not reading enough verses to like pull out the next thing.
Pull out more context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so more content means more opportunity
All right.
to think of something.
Was this marketing class again?
I don't know, something like that.
I mean, I get what you're saying there, but I can't change that because it's not my house church.
So we did kind of skip over this, but our small groups in homes, we call or house churches.
Yeah.
And because the whole point is that we're doing, in Acts, churches weren't in buildings, but
Right.
instead of getting rid of the Sunday buildings, we just still are going to do the Sundays thing, but also call this the house
Right.
church.
Now, our church and our pastor never actually wanted a Sunday building. He wanted a house church model for our entire church.
Yeah, I think the original vision, but then I think
Right.
it also came back to
How do you get people if you don't have a Sunday building?
well, you told me, Andrew, that you can just easily invite
Right.
them to a house church. That's way
So-
easier than a Sunday.
You can, but then that's just one person doing it, and I'm gonna be I'm different. I mean, it's easier for me to invite somebody to a house than it is to the church because of the stigmatism. Whereas at a house, it's so informal. You're eating. Who's gonna say no to free food? I don't.
Me, if it means I have to go over your house.
Yeah, maybe. Depends on whose house, I guess.
Who's cooking? That's what I need to know. I need a sample.
I do ask that a lot.
I need a Sam's Club style of Yeah, that's basically the question. It's not what's the lesson about. It's who's bringing dinner. What's for dinner? Am I
Yep.
eating before or am I eating with you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I won't even go on that topic.
So when we asked the question, what is better, Sunday school, Sunday night school, purpose-driven life small groups, or house church small groups throughout the week? Where do you fit in on like what was your good old day peak, or is it now?
Honestly, probably the purpose-driven lifestyle was mine.
Sunday nights,
Doing the same
we're
curriculum.
all doing the same curriculum, all on the same chapters.
Yep.
I think when purpose-driven life, I think how the flow of that went was the Sunday that went along with, like it was like the, what was it, 40 days thing?
Yes.
That was that the curriculum? There was sermons that the pastor preached that went along with the book. So
right.
everything was synergized
Right.
to, everybody was on the same page. I keep using that stupid
Synergy,
synergized
right.
word. Everything was on the same page. Everybody was talking about the same things. Everything was reinforcing what was talked about earlier in the week. So yeah, I see things like that, which takes a lot more planning. But I think I've seen stuff with Life Church, and it seemed like at least one point of time that they had a small groups pastor that would do a video teaching that would kind of open up the teaching of it, and it would be going a little deeper to what Craig Groeschel talked about on Sunday, and he would like take those verses and kind of go deeper on those verses. So it was like interesting. I don't know if they always do that, but I know the times that I looked into it, it went along with the sermon.
Right.
But obviously they're a bigger church. They have staff that can just focus on that intently, and I'm a big proponent of video anyway when it comes
Right.
to teachings. I've always loved, like, my favorite probably has been the kind of the open curriculum stuff that we would do, or maybe I did it and we weren't supposed to do it. I can't remember. I think actually that's what happened. I think I did. I think we were tired of the same four questions, and so we were not recognized as a house church for a while. I forgot about that. We were not recognized as a house church because I was doing Francis Chan. We were just buying our own curriculum online with like Francis Chan teachings, where I like the video, have somebody like give some truth, no opinionated kind of truth on a teaching, and then some follow-up questions that we can still have and have a conversation. And basically all those questions end up kind of triggering one of those, what do you learn about God, man, each other, sin, whatever. I think that's where I've always gone to. Like, I even thought, like, man, if I was to get back into, like, doing youth ministry, I would want it to be pretty video-driven, I think, as far as those kind of style of teachings, thinking about, like, what keeps people's attention. It isn't, somebody giving a lecture after they just been at school all day, like, they can. I'm not saying it doesn't, but...
So would you do popcorn with your video?
Popcorn?
Yeah, with your video.
No.
I mean, if I'm watching a video, I need popcorn.
This won't translate to a podcast very well, but I remember one time I took Carson to the movies when he was like probably 6 or 7, and we just finished lunch, went to the movies. Movie started at like 1:30 or something, and so he was like wanting popcorn. I was like, we just had lunch, and he goes like, how am I gonna keep my eyes open? I was like, you're fine. And then he just like used his fingers and started propping his eyes open, like he was holding them open so he could stay awake during the movie. So I was like, I'll go get you popcorn.
That's funny.
But it's just like, okay, I'll keep my eyes open like this.
That's funny.
Oh my goodness. Like he wasn't doing it in a rude way. Like
Right,
he was just literally like that's
funny.
That's how his brain worked. Can't have movies without popcorn. So maybe I would provide popcorn, and that would allow
People to keep their eyes open.
people to keep their eyes open, focus on what's going on. But I've always thought, like, I've always been a proponent of video teaching, recording those things. Then those videos can be used to help other churches with their curriculum, and you can just kind of you can spread the love a little bit more to all these churches, and especially the smaller churches that aren't going to have the staff to do those kind of things. I don't know. I've always just been a proponent of video, but that takes more work, and so then that's why you end up not.
Yeah, because that's a whole production, dude.
Yeah, like I can't volunteer and do that for
Right.
sure. Like,
Yeah.
I've tried, and it burns you out real fast. But okay, well, that's the history of Sunday school. I'd like to, know where people are in their churches, because we're kind of in a bubble here in
Right.
the Bible Belt. Are you guys still used to the Sunday morning style of things? Have you guys moved to Sunday nights? Do you still have Sunday night regular service church?
That was fun,
That was
too.
a thing.
Yeah.
To do Sunday night small groups, you had to get rid of the Sunday night regular church.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Flashback right there.
I know, right? The pastor would always say, you know how popular Jesus is, or a popular pastor is on Sunday morning, and you know how popular Jesus is on Sunday night.
Yep.
Because like a third of the people would show up to Sunday night.
If you're
church.
lucky, a third.
Because you'd be at the lake.
No, we'd have to come back for Sunday night church.
I'd be interested to hear where you guys are on your journey when it comes to how to do small groups in Sunday school or Monday school or Tuesday school or whatever you want to call it, because it really is all the same thing repackaged, in my opinion.
Right, absolutely.
And if you don't like that opinion, if you think that's wrong, then maybe that's why we should be doing a little bit more structure on our questions. Right, Andrew?
No.
Because then you get these opinions that don't
Right.
get refuted. They're just out there in the world now. Okay, well, we're way off topic and probably have made somebody mad. So hopefully you guys have a good week, and we'll see you next time.
Take it easy.